Tracy, are you ready? Almost? Okay. Yeah. You're good, Tracy? Okay, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order, the March 22nd, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety to order. Chris, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jason, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to our resolutions, we have a resolution to opt back into opioids settlement, and I know Chris is going to share the context for this. Go ahead, Chris.
Am I allowed to talk?
You are.
Awesome. Good morning. For the record, Chris Greisel, City Attorney. So as this board knows, cities and towns started their pursuit of the opioid litigation several years ago by joining the multi-district litigation. And also, as this board knows, last year when the General Assembly adopted a law that wasn't so favorable to the split of settlements for local communities, we all made a decision to opt out of the joint settlement conversations with the state to preserve the local community's interest in the work that we had done over the previous few years in the multi-district litigation. So I'm sure you all have been aware that this year, I'm happy to report, the General Assembly corrected some of those issues with respect to the legislation concerning the settlement. And it was timely because the big three distributors, McKesson Corporation, Cardinal Health, Amerisource, Virgin, and then the Johnson & Johnson defendants have all approved settlement agreement in the multi-district litigation. 47 states have committed to the settlement agreement so far, and Indiana, once all of the local communities opt in to rejoining the state, will be the next state to join into the settlement agreement. So what does this mean for Fishers right now? It means that through those big three distributors that I mentioned in the Johnson & Johnson defendants, we are going to receive in gross around $385,000. There's an 8.5% attorney's fee that was that we all agreed to at the onset of the multi-district litigation, and those fees have been amended throughout time to preserve kind of the rates for all the communities. So after that rate gets deducted, we'll be left somewhere around $350,000 net through these settlement agreements. Payments could begin as late as, or as early as, I should say, May, and throughout the summer. It just all depends on the settlement progress that the state enters into. The settlement approach has been approved by all the big three defendants, as well as Johnson & Johnson. So right now it's just waiting for local communities in Indiana to enact the opt-ins and for the state to join in. And so we're completing those procedural steps. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Chris? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Jason, is there a second? I will go ahead and make the second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Jeff, are you still on the line?
Aye.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, sorry, I hit mute. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Unanimous vote. Moving on, a request to approve the 2022 Neighborhood Vibrancy Grant Committee funding. Good morning.
Good morning. For the record, Bree King, Planning and Zoning. Just a quick overview of the Neighborhood Vibrancy Grant Program. The purpose is to provide funding for creative and innovative ideas that make our community a more beautiful place to live. This is a matching grant program. A change this year is applicants will sign MOUs after the funding is approved and will provide the money up front versus reimbursement. And also new this year, all landscaping will be required to be native species. This year received our greatest number of applications ever at 27. The committee proposed to fund 23 of those projects. The total amount requested was almost $105,000, with total project costs being a little over $400,000. We had $75,000 to give out, so as you can see, it was a very competitive process this year. Here's our historic overview. As you can see, the amount requested has increased over time, as well as the amount of funding that we've had available. That large peak that you see there was a time when we allowed applicants to request more than $5,000. We have put that cap back on so that we are able to fund as many projects as possible. This year, we propose to fund 13 projects that include landscaping, 8 projects that include hardscaping or benches, and 2 projects that included lighting. We had a couple unique projects this year that were very exciting as we're trying to encourage unique and out-of-the-box ideas moving forward. We're encouraging people to think in the following categories: environmental and agricultural, recreation, public spaces, historic, and neighborhood. So we're interested to see how that continues in the future. One of our notable projects was Schoolhouse 7, which the committee recommended $5,000 to create the addition of tables, a message board describing the history of the area, trash receptacle, dog waste station, and a flagpole to enhance the northwest corner of the property, and the Sweetbriar North subdivision, which is recommended to receive $5,000 to replace unsafe playground equipment to better serve their neighborhood. Next steps, if the funding is approved, is signs such as these will be placed in a visible area of grant-winning locations. This is new to this grant cycle and very exciting. And then the winner information and photos will be placed on the public website for review. Next, I'll move on to the Fishers Arts and Culture Commission, if that's acceptable.
If you could hold on one second, we'll probably take a vote on the first one.
Okay.
I have a couple questions if I could though. Did we combine, so it was $75,000 available for funding, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So did we combine the neighborhood matching grant with the tree grant that we used to have? Is that how we got to $75,000? Because we used to have 2 different grant programs. Are they now combined?
Yes, that is correct. The
Okay.
neighborhood matching grant and tree matching grant were combined into the neighborhood vibrancy.
And just out of curiosity, I know this is a subjective question, but if more funding was available, were there viable projects that could have been funded that were applied for?
I definitely think that is the case. We had almost $105,000 requested of very interesting and unique projects that some didn't receive funding this year. So I do think if more funding was available, especially with the applications increasing every year,
Yeah.
that we could make a bigger impact on our community.
And did we take the restrictions off of how old the neighborhood had to be, or is that still the thing?
We did. We do provide the committee members with the age of the neighborhood in order to assist in making that decision, if that comes into play.
There's no longer a requirement, 15 years or older?
No.
So for us to fund the remainder of the eligible projects that are legitimate projects, we would need to find $30,000, is that right? Roughly. I think you said you had $105,000 of viable projects.
Yeah, just right about there.
Okay. Well, that might be something we can work on too, to see if we have any additional funding. I'm a strong believer in this program. I think neighborhoods putting their money into their common areas and keeping their neighborhoods vibrant, I think it's an important project. So I'm fine with awarding this first set, but I do think if we can go find another $30,000, I don't know. Have you already sent out the Dear John letters that tell them they didn't win?
Nope, I was going to do that after this meeting
Okay,
today.
well, hold off on that. We'll see if we can find some additional funding. Lisa, shake the money tree if you could, and we'll figure this out. Yeah. All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the first set of these, and then,
Well, Jason always saves us money.
yeah, Jason, you got 30. Yeah, that's a rounding error for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the matching grant. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now moving on to the arts grant.
I am presenting today for Ross, who could not be here. So the Fishers Arts and Culture Commission desires to invest in artists, art organizations, and cultural events that foster a city where arts and culture events are a vital component to community life. Fishers is a community where arts and culture are valued, promoted for their economic benefit, and are an integral facet of our vibrant community while engaging in lifelong learning. The 2021 grant cycle, the Commission awarded 18 projects totaling nearly $43,000 in funding ranging from $2,000 to $2,500. This 2022 grant cycle, the Commission wishes to award 10 projects totaling nearly $47,000 in funding ranging from $3,000 to $5,000.
Any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not bad for your first time up here. Might get an extra $30,000.
I'll go ahead and do the next two items since
Okay.
Tabitha's not here. And they're just simple surplus resolutions for both of your considerations. The only differentiation is for item number 4, we are preparing a surplus for trade-ins.
As long as my Yukon isn't on there,
Your
we're fine.
Yukon is not on there. That thing,
It's down and out right now. It's got a variety of issues that they're trying to work
it
through.
would certainly be under the worthless
It's-
property
it's,
section if we ever did turn it back.
I think it's in the hospice right now, from what I understand, so.
So does it even have trade-in value?
No, scrap metal, that would be about it. I'll make a motion to approve the surplus of, for trade-ins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and then I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution declaring city property as surplus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Jason. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, moving to request for bid award for road resurfacing. Mecki.
Morning. For the record, Hatem Meki, Assistant Director of Engineering. Before you is the request for bid award for our yearly resurfacing contract 22-1. We advertised this bid on March 10th. We received 5 bids altogether, and the lowest and the most responsible bid was from Howard Companies. I think it was previously Harding Group, in the amount of $2.29. In this package is normally most of the neighborhoods are west of Cumberland Road. Some of these neighborhoods are Waterford Gardens, Charleston Crossing, Sunblest, and Fisher Point. We initially estimated this project at 2.16, and this estimate was a little bit before a lot of the current financial climate and all of the increase in material costs. So this is kind of a good win for us. And we are going to provide the notice to proceed once this board approves the contract and the award, and the staff recommends the approval, and I'm here for any questions.
Any questions for Mecki?
Any planned boring on Ola Road? Utility boring or anything?
Nothing planned as far as we know.
Send letters out to every utility that you got one shot at.
After
messing
we
up these
resurface
roads.
it, we'll probably get like 15
Yeah, they'll
permits.
file right after you get done paving.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah. All right, if there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
One quick question, Mecki, would they start April timeframe? I mean, would
Yeah,
this-
once all the plants starts producing their asphalt, they're going to start right away.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Next is request to approve First Amendment to project agreement for Rebar Techway LLC.
Thank you for the record, Chris Kreisel, City Attorney. As this board knows, in November, the city, the Town Hall Building Corporation, and our Redevelopment Commission entered into a project agreement with Rebar Techway to design and construct 2 commercial buildings and complete certain infrastructure next to and adjacent to the Nickel Plate Trail in exchange for a commercial property grant. This proposed amendment provides a certain license for use, which is going to allow the city to utilize a certain portion of that building prior to its rehabilitation for approximately 18 months. And it's our plan right now as we are winding down our mass vaccination site at the former Marsh building to relocate our health department here for the duration of that term in exchange for a fee for Rebar. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Chris? Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Jason, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Chris. Final item for today is request to approve city's workers' compensation insurance for 2022. Lisa.
All right, for the record, Lisa Bradford, City Controller. The item before you is our annual workers' compensation renewal. As you can see this year, we have a pretty high increase. We have about $110,000 increase in our premium from what we had last year, due for a variety of reasons. One of the things is when they calculate your workers' compensation insurance, they look at an average of your probably last 5 years. We've had some higher claims the last couple years that we had low claim years falling off and high claim years coming on, leading to a higher, they call it an experience mod, which is what is causing our increase. So we had factored in this increase into the 2022 budget. So we're still within our budget amount and should not have an issue. But that's one thing that we have been looking at with MJ Insurance is how to continue to decrease our amount of workers' compensation claims. We're going again with IPEP. There are not a lot of industry or a lot of companies that do governmental workers' compensation insurance, so there's not a lot of people that will go out and bid, and the few that we do get are actually substantially higher than the quote we get from IPEP. So we did also look at a large deductible option, which basically is you pay a very, very small premium, and then whatever claims you get, you pay. If you would average our losses the last couple years, we would probably be about $25,000 less than this premium. However, if you take all our worst years and average them, we're about $50,000 higher. And then if we have a catastrophic year, we go up to the full amount of the 1.5 million. So that's well in excess of the about 400,000.
What was the deductible on that when you looked at the high deductible?
The high deductible, it varies. What did $500,000? It's 500. An optional quote for $500,000 per occurrence deductible. So that's what that was the high deductible.
And what's our total premium for this year?
This year we're right around 453,000. So
I continue to wonder whether we should be self-funded in this area,
Yeah.
but that's something I guess we can continue to look at. But
yeah, it's something that comes up, and especially as we get more into this kind of some issues, some more issues with IPEP and the lack of other options in this market.
Right.
It's one of those that, and we don't have a lot of, like I said, you don't have a lot of choices when this happens. So it's something I think we do need to explore.
Well, hopefully, I know you're overseeing this, so hopefully you guys can continue to dig into that and figure out whether that makes more financial sense for the city long-term to self-fund.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a discussion to have as we move forward.
Great.
So.
Any other questions for Lisa? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lisa. If there are no other items, Chris, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.